We're writing our first new function since we talked about using object parameters earlier. We should use what we learned in the first module of this video and write a function that accepts a single object parameter. This will make sure we can modify it as much as we want in the future without fear of breaking a contract with existing code. We first start with our new load section function. It takes a single parameter called options. Even though we're just doing a demonstration, it's still prudent to follow some safety precautions. We verify that we have an object as our parameter. We then verify that the options object has selector and URL properties. We return the results of the get method, which is actually a deferred object. This makes the when block much more readable. It would be very easy to extend, and new sections could be easily loaded without breaking readability. Let's take a look at the result. It should perform exactly as the last example. It does, in fact, perform the same. That may bring up the question of why we changed the previous version then. If it was working, shouldn't we have left it alone? The answer to that depends on the definition of working. If we define working as just getting the desired output, then yes, we could have left it alone. If we define working as getting the desired result in such a manner that is repeatable, extensible, and maintainable, then no, it wasn't working and needed some adjustments. Before we leave this code, let's talk about a couple more points. Going back to the load section function, notice how we return the result of the get method without actually doing any checks on the URL parameter. What happens if we pass in an invalid URL? What happens if we have a blank URL? We really need to plan for exceptions and make sure our code handles both positive and negative results. The function is working like we expect when called with a properly defined object parameter. Using the object parameter, we're ready for future expansion. Having a single function reduces the code complexity for actually loading pages into sections and will make integrating changes to the logic much easier.